Unleashing Chaos, The Great Fire of London, 1666. The year was 1666, and London was about to face one of its greatest disasters. What started as a small flame soon became an inferno that would devastate the city. The Great Fire was not just a random accident, but an event that left an indelible mark on the history of England. It consumed thousands of homes, iconic landmarks, and reduced a thriving city to ashes. Join us as we journey through the chaos of the Great Fire of London, a tragedy that forever reshaped the capital of England and set the stage for a new era of rebuilding. The setting: London in 1666. Before the fire, London was a city ripe for disaster. Narrow streets, wooden buildings, and a population recovering from the Black Plague of 1665 created the perfect conditions for catastrophe. With over 500,000 inhabitants crammed into the medieval city, fire safety was an afterthought. Houses were built haphazardly, often stacked next to one another, with overhanging upper floors that almost touched across the streets. Open flames were common in homes and businesses, as people relied on fire for cooking and warmth. It was a bustling, vibrant city, yet dangerously vulnerable to a disaster waiting to happen. The spark: Pudding Lane. It all began in the early hours of September 2nd, 1666, at the bakery of Thomas Farriner on Pudding Lane. A small spark escaped, igniting the dry timbers of the bakery. Farriner and his family escaped the growing blaze, but the fire quickly spread. The wooden houses, dry from a long summer, became kindling for the flames. Despite initial efforts to contain the fire, strong winds fanned the flames, turning a small blaze into an unstoppable inferno. In the tight-knit, overcrowded streets of London, the fire spread like a living thing, consuming everything in its path. The blaze spreads. Within hours, the fire spread uncontrollably. Fierce winds drove the flames onward, jumping from house to house, street to street. The medieval architecture, made mostly of wood and pitch, provided fuel for the fire to grow even faster. Soon, entire neighborhoods were consumed by the roaring blaze. With no organized fire brigade and only rudimentary tools, Londoners were helpless. The only defense was creating fire breaks by demolishing homes, but the winds were too strong. As the fire swept through the city, panic ensued, and the entire population scrambled to flee with whatever possessions they could carry. The city in panic. Panic set in as Londoners rushed to escape the burning city. The wealthy loaded their possessions onto carts, while the poor fled with only the clothes on their backs. Many sought refuge on the Thames River, hoping the water would protect them from the approaching firestorm. By the third day, large parts of London were unrecognizable, reduced to smoldering ruins. The fire raged unchecked, and many began to lose hope of ever stopping it. The chaos was overwhelming, with families separated, businesses destroyed, and homes turned to ash in minutes. London's entire social fabric seemed to unravel in the face of the unstoppable fire. Heroes of the fire, Samuel Pepys and others. In the chaos, a few figures stand out as heroes. Samuel Pepys, the famous diarist, played a crucial role during the fire, recording the disaster in vivid detail. He not only documented the tragedy, but also helped coordinate efforts to stop the fire. Other key figures, including the Duke of York, the future King James II, led firefighting efforts. Volunteers worked tirelessly, risking their lives to create fire breaks and save key buildings. These individuals displayed remarkable courage in the face of overwhelming odds, embodying the resilience and determination that Londoners would need to recover from the devastation. The destruction of St. Paul's Cathedral. The towering St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of London, was thought to be safe. Its thick stone walls were expected to withstand the blaze, but the fire proved too fierce. As the inferno raged on, by the fourth day it was clear that no structure was immune to its destructive power. The lead roof of the cathedral melted under the intense heat, and the great church crumbled, sending clouds of ash and debris into the air. St. Paul's had stood for centuries as a beacon of faith and stability, a witness to countless moments in London's history. but in just a few hours it was reduced to rubble. The loss of St. Paul's was not just the destruction of a building, it was a symbolic blow to the identity of the people of London. For many, it deepened the sense of despair, as this grand edifice represented hope and resilience in times of crisis. The charred remains served as a haunting reminder of the chaos that had unfolded, leaving an emotional scar on the city. The rebuilding of St. Paul's would later become a powerful symbol of London's recovery and resurgence in the face of adversity. The fire finally contained. The goddess, after 4 days of relentless burning, the fire was finally contained. The wind died down, and the flames began to subside, offering a glimmer of hope amidst the devastation. A firebreak at Fetter Lane proved to be a turning point, and the firefighters, though exhausted, were able to prevent the fire from spreading further. By September 6, 1666, the fire had burned itself out, leaving behind a landscape of ash and despair. The damage was catastrophic. Over 13,000 homes, 87 churches, and numerous businesses were destroyed. The heart of London lay in ruins, its people left homeless and devastated, grappling with their loss. Many had lost everything, forced to seek shelter wherever they could find it. Yet, amid the ashes and despair, the end of the fire marked the beginning of a long and difficult recovery. Communities rallied together, sharing resources and rebuilding what they could. The spirit of Londoners shone through the dark days that followed, showcasing their resilience and determination to rise again. In the face of such adversity, plans were drawn to create a more organized city, incorporating fire safety measures and broader streets. The fire, while a tragedy, ultimately became a catalyst for change, prompting a transformation that would reshape London for generations to come. The aftermath. The Great Fire left London in a state of devastation. Thousands were homeless, businesses were destroyed, and the city's infrastructure was crippled. Streets that once bustled with life were now filled with charred remains. But in the ashes of despair, seeds of hope began to sprout. King Charles II and his advisors saw an opportunity to rebuild London better than before. They envisioned a new city, one that would not only be more beautiful, but also more resilient to future disasters. Sir Christopher Wren, one of the greatest architects of the time, was tasked with designing a new St. Paul's Cathedral, symbolizing the city's rebirth. Wren's designs included wider streets and the incorporation of brick and stone, which were more fire-resistant than the wooden structures that had dominated the landscape. As rebuilding commenced, Londoners began to band together, forging a sense of community and resilience that would help them overcome the tragedy. The fire, while devastating, also acted as a catalyst for urban planning and modernization. By 1670, London was starting to transform, reflecting the determination of its people to rise from the ashes and restore their beloved city to its former glory, albeit in a new form. If you enjoyed this exploration of the Great Fire of London and its aftermath, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more historical deep dives. Hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest content.